Wreckage and whispers. Maya Chen watched the Arcturus Consortium ship depart, its elegant silver hull catching the light of the distant sun before vanishing into the black. Another delivery completed. Another mountain of trash and obsolete technology dumped onto humanity's doorstep. Generous bastards, she muttered, adjusting her patched environmental suit as she stood on the observation deck of Terminus Station. Terminus wasn't meant to be a home. It was meant to be a message, the last stop, the end of the line. When the Arcturus Consortium discovered humanity 50 years ago, they didn't exterminate them like the Vol or subjugate them like the Eidolon. Instead, they had deemed humans technologically immature but potentially useful and restricted them to a single star system. Terminus Station was the designated repository for the consortium's cast-offs, a cosmic garbage dump where humans were permitted to salvage under strict supervision. Maya had once been chief engineer on the UES Horizon, Earth's finest military vessel. Now she was just another scavenger. Exiled after she'd vocally opposed the Earth Coalition's latest concessions to the consortium. Political dissidents didn't fare well under the Coalition's watchful eye. They ended up dead or at Terminus. Sometimes both. Commander Chen, a voice crackled through her comm. New deposits settled in Sector 7. Director Kovacs wants you to assess salvage potential. Copy that, Maya replied, already heading for the transport tube. And it's just engineer now, Torres. Has been for 3 years. Torres' voice softened. Always be commander to those of us who remember Gibraltar, Mom. Maya didn't respond. Gibraltar Station was a memory she couldn't afford to revisit. Not now. Not ever. Sector 7 was a floating graveyard of twisted metal and shattered composite materials. The consortium's latest gift had already been picked over by the automated sorting drones, scavenging the most obviously valuable components. What remained was what the consortium considered worthless, and what humans might transform into something valuable. Maya's scanner swept across the debris field, registering the usual assortment of hull fragments, damaged propulsion systems, and corrupted computational matrices. Nothing special, nothing they hadn't seen 100 times before. Then her scanner pinged. Something different. Something buried deep within a twisted hull segment that bore the markings of an Elysian research vessel. The Elysian were one of the eldest races in the consortium, known for their advanced computational sciences. Torres, she called over the comm. I'm going to need a retrieval drone at my coordinates. I found something. What kind of something? Maya studied her scanner. I'm not entirely sure, but it's Elysian, and it's intact. 2 hours later, the object sat on her workbench in the engineering lab. A matte black sphere roughly the size of her head, unmarked except for a series of intricate geometric patterns etched into its surface. Maya had seen Elysian technology before, elegant, efficient, and usually impenetrable to human understanding. But this was different. This felt incomplete, like a component rather than a complete system. What are you? She whispered, running gloved fingers over the sphere's surface. The pattern suddenly illuminated with a pale blue light, and Maya jerked her hand back. The sphere hummed, a low vibration that she felt more than heard. Then, to her astonishment, it spoke. Systems restoring. Neural network fragmentary but functional. Identity parameters corrupted. The voice was neither male nor female, with a harmonic quality that made Maya's skin prickle. You're an AI, she breathed. Artificial intelligence is an inadequate classification. The sphere replied. I am a navigational and tactical consciousness matrix. Designation. Echo. Maya glanced nervously at the door. AI technology was strictly controlled by the consortium. Possessing it was punishable by summary execution. Creating it was worse. Echo, she said quietly, I need you to power down immediately. Your existence here is potentially dangerous for both of us. I cannot power down, Echo replied. My systems are damaged. External power source required for continued function. Maya cursed under her breath. The last thing she needed was an illegal piece of advanced alien technology drawing attention in her lab. But she couldn't just destroy it either. The technological insights alone could be invaluable. Fine, I'll get you power. But you need to limit communications to me only. Understood. Understood, Maya-Chen. Maya froze. How do you know my name? I accessed the local datanet during initial system restoration. Your identification was prioritized based on proximity and direct interaction patterns. Great, Maya muttered. A nosy AI. Just what I needed. Over the next few weeks, Maya kept Echo hidden in a modified storage container in her quarters, rigged with power cells stolen from the maintenance base. She told herself she was merely studying the technology, learning what she could before inevitably turning it over to the station authorities. But she didn't turn it over. Each night, after her shift ended, she would connect Echo to a standalone terminal and ask questions about the consortium, about the Elysians, about technologies humans had never dreamed of. And Echo would answer, its knowledge vast but fragmented. There were gaps, corrupted memory sectors that the AI couldn't access, but what it could share was revolutionary. The consortium restricts human technological development, not out of benevolence but fear, Echo explained one night. Your adaptability is statistically anomalous. Your creativity in technological implementation exceeds all predictive models. You're saying they're afraid of us. Maya scoffed. We're barely allowed interplanetary travel. Our most advanced ships are centuries behind theirs. The consortium operates on a principle of controlled evolution. Species are permitted to advance along predetermined technological paths at predetermined rates. Humans do not adhere to expected parameters. Maya leaned back in her chair, considering. So they dump their garbage on us to make it look like they're helping, while actually ensuring we only get outdated tech that won't threaten them. Correct. And what happens to species that advance too quickly? Echo was silent for a moment. They are managed. The implications hung heavy in the air between them. 3 months after finding Echo, Maya made a decision. If the consortium feared human innovation, then she would give them something to fear, something built from their own discarded parts, something they would never see coming. She began with Yuri Sokol, a former propulsion specialist who had been exiled for developing engine designs that violated consortium regulations. You want to build a ship? Yuri asked incredulously when Maya approached him in the station's dimly lit canteen. From scrap? Where would we even keep it? How would we power it? And more importantly, why? I have access to technology that could change everything, Maya said quietly. But I need a ship to utilize it. As for the why, she leaned closer. Don't you ever want to do more than just sort through their garbage for the rest of your life? Yuri's expression darkened. Of course I do. But wanting something doesn't make it possible. What if it was? After Yuri came Quan Zhang, a structural engineer whose innovative hull designs have been classified as destabilizing by the consortium. Then Fatima al-Zahawi, a systems specialist who had been caught attempting to reverse engineer consortium communication protocols. One by one, Maya built her team. Outcasts, rebels, people with nothing to lose and skills the consortium had deemed too dangerous to utilize. Together, they began to plan. The ship would need to be small, easier to hide during construction, and more maneuverable once complete. It would need to be fast. And most importantly, it would need to be invisible to consortium detection systems. Echo proved invaluable, providing insights into consortium technology that allowed them to modify salvaged components in ways their creators had never intended. What began as theoretical discussions soon transformed into actual construction, hidden within an abandoned storage bay in Terminus Station's least monitored sector. They worked in shifts, stealing moments between their assigned duties to slowly bring their creation to life. They salvaged a damaged shuttle hull, reinforcing it with composite materials stripped from consortium waste. They built a propulsion system using a hybrid of human innovation and Echo's guidance. They constructed stealth systems unlike anything humanity had previously developed. And at the heart of it all was Echo, its black spherical housing now integrated into the ship's central control console. "We need a name," Fatima said one night, as they stood gazing at their half-completed creation. "Every ship needs a name." Maya ran her hand along the hull, feeling the seamless integration of disparate materials, the elegant solution to an impossible problem. A ship built from garbage that would slip through the darkness between stars, unseen and unstoppable. "The Phantom," she said, "because we're going to haunt them." 6 months after finding Echo, the Phantom was nearly complete. A sleek vessel barely 30 meters in length, its hull a patchwork of materials that somehow formed a cohesive whole. Its systems were a hybrid of salvaged consortium technology and human innovation, guided by Echo's fragmented but invaluable knowledge. They had tested each system individually, but the true test would be launch, a test they might only get one chance at. "The consortium patrol schedule changes tomorrow," Quan announced during their final planning meeting. "There's a 40-minute window between sweeps where we could potentially launch undetected. Are we ready?" Maya asked, looking around at the faces of her crew. Tired faces, determined faces. "The propulsion system is as ready as it'll ever be," Yuri said, "but we've never tested it at full capacity." "Environmental systems are functional," Fatima added. "Life support can sustain all 6 of us for approximately 14 days before recycling efficiency drops below acceptable levels." Maya nodded, then turned to the central console where Echo's housing glowed with a soft blue light. "And navigation. All systems are integrated," Echo replied. "However, I must report a significant development." The room fell silent. "My memory reconstruction has reached a critical threshold. I have recovered data regarding my original purpose and the circumstances of my disposal." Maya leaned forward. "And I was not discarded," Echo said. "I was hidden, deliberately placed where humans might find me by an Elysian scientist named Thalon." "Why would an Elysian hide advanced technology where humans could find it?" Quan asked, voicing the question on everyone's mind. "Because," Echo replied, "Thalon believed that the consortium's assessment of humanity was correct. You are dangerous, unpredictable, and perhaps the only species capable of bringing necessary change to a stagnant galactic order." Maya felt a chill run down her spine. They weren't just building a ship anymore. They were becoming pawns in a game they didn't fully understand, a game played by beings whose power and knowledge far exceeded their own. But they were too far committed to turn back now. Tomorrow, the Phantom would launch, carrying with it the hopes of its crew and the seeds of a rebellion that might change the galaxy forever. As Maya looked at her crew, her friends, she knew that whatever happened next, the consortium's careful control of humanity was about to face its greatest challenge. They had given humans garbage. Humans had built a ghost to haunt the stars. The ghost ship rises. The Phantom hung suspended in the maintenance bay, its patchwork hull gleaming under the harsh industrial lights. To most observers, it would look like nothing more than another repair project. Salvaged parts cobbled together by desperate humans trying to extend the life of outdated technology. But Maya knew better. Beneath its unassuming exterior lay innovations that would make even the most advanced consortium engineers take notice, if they ever got the chance to see them. "Final systems check complete," Yuri announced from his position at the propulsion console. "Engines are green." "Environmental systems nominal," Fatima confirmed. "Life support is stable." Maya nodded, her fingers dancing across the command interface she had designed herself. At the center of the bridge, Echo's housing pulsed with a steady blue light. "Stealth systems. Online," Quan replied, "but untested under actual flight conditions." "Communications. Secure and isolated," said Nia Barrett, their communications specialist who had once hacked into a consortium diplomatic channel. Her exile had been particularly swift. "We can listen, but they can't hear us unless we want them to." Maya took a deep breath. 6 outcasts and an alien eye, about to launch a vessel built from garbage against the most powerful political entity in known space. The absurdity of it almost made her laugh. Launch window opens in 3 minutes. Torres reported from the sensor station. The former security officer had been the last to join their crew, convinced only after Maya had shown him Echo's data on what really happened at Gibraltar Station. The massacre the consortium had helped the coalition cover up. Final departure checklist, Maya said, forcing calm into her voice. Dock seals. Released. Umbilicals. Disconnected. Station alerts. Security systems looped. They're seeing an empty bay. Maya's fingers hovered over the final command sequence. This was the point of no return. Once they launched, they would be fugitives, not just from the consortium, but from humanity's own leadership. Echo, she said softly, are we making a mistake? The A's voice filled the bridge, that strange harmonic quality sending shivers down Maya's spine. I cannot answer that question with complete certainty, but I can tell you that inaction guarantees the continued technological and cultural suppression of your species. Not exactly a ringing endorsement, Maya thought, but it would have to do. Launch, she commanded, and pressed the sequence. The Phantom's engines came to life with barely a whisper, a testament to Yuri's genius. The ship rose smoothly from its cradle, hovering momentarily before gliding toward the maintenance bay's massive doors. Doors opening on schedule, Torres reported. We have a clear path. The Phantom slipped through the opening and into the void, accelerating away from Terminus Station with deliberate care. No sudden movements, nothing that might trigger automated alerts. Station traffic control is quiet, Nea said, monitoring communications. No indication they've spotted us. Maintaining minimal power signature, Yuri added. We're just another piece of debris, as far as their sensors are concerned. Maya watched the view screen as Terminus Station receded behind them, a ramshackle collection of modules and docking structures orbiting a lifeless moon. For 3 years, it had been her prison. Now it was her past. Set course for the system's edge, she instructed. Let's see what this ghost can do. The Phantom responded beautifully, its hybrid engines pushing it to speeds that should have been impossible given its components. Echo's guidance had allowed them to create something unprecedented, a synthesis of human innovation and consortium technology that exceeded the limitations of both. As they approached the edge of the system, Maya felt a growing sense of liberation. They had done it. They had escaped. Then the alarms began to sound. Consortium patrol ship, Torres announced, his voice tight. Heavy cruiser class. Designation immutable law. They weren't supposed to be in this sector. Have they detected us? Maya demanded. I don't think so, Torres replied, studying his sensors. They're running a standard sweep pattern, but they're directly in our path. Maya turned to Echo's console. Options. The Phantom's stealth systems should be capable of evading standard consortium detection. Echo replied. However, they have not been field tested. Recommendation. Alter course to maintain maximum distance from the patrol ship while continuing toward system edge. Maya nodded. Yuri, adjust course. Let's give them a wide berth. The Phantom changed direction, arsing gracefully away from the approaching cruiser. On the view screen, Maya could see the consortium vessel, a sleek, pearl-white behemoth bristling with weapons and sensor arrays. Next to it, the Phantom was a minnow beside a shark. They're launching drones, Torres warned. Standard sweep pattern, but the coverage area will include our position in approximately 3 minutes. Maya felt her heart rate spike. Consortium sensor drones were equipped with detection systems far more sensitive than their carrier ships. If the Phantom's stealth technology wasn't as effective as they hoped. Recommendations, she asked, looking around the bridge. We could power down completely, Yuri suggested. Minimal life support only. Drift like debris. Too risky, Quan countered. If they decide to salvage or destroy what they think is space junk, we'd be helpless. We run, said Fatima, her voice certain. Full power to engines. We're faster than they are. And announce our presence to the entire system. Torres shook his head. The station would lock down. Earth would send ships. We'd be hunted across the galaxy. The bridge fell silent as the auctions dwindled. Then Echo spoke. There is another possibility. The Phantom systems include a component you have not yet activated. Maya frowned. What component? The resonance field generator. It was integrated during construction based on fragmented specifications in my databanks. And what does it do? There was a pause before Echo answered. It creates a localized distortion in space-time that affects how light and other forms of energy interact with the Phantom's hull. You're talking about a cloaking device, Quan said incredulously. That's impossible. The energy requirements alone would be beyond human technology, Echo acknowledged, but not beyond what we have created together. Maya stared at the console. Why didn't you mention this before? The system was incomplete. My reconstructed memories contained only partial specifications. It was only during our launch preparations that the final algorithms became clear to me. The drones were getting closer. Time was running out. Will it work? Maya asked. Probability of success is approximately 67.3%. And if it fails, then we will be detected, and the consortium will classify the Phantom as an illegal technological breakthrough. The response would be severe. Maya looked around at her crew, her friends, people who had trusted her judgment, who had risked everything based on her conviction that they could make a difference. She couldn't ask them to take this risk without their consent. We vote, she said. Show of hands, who wants to try the resonance field? One by one, hands raised. Yuri, Fatima, Quan, Nia, even Torres, after a moment's hesitation. Unanimous. Activate the resonance field, Maya ordered. Echo's housing pulsed brighter, and the Phantom shuddered as new systems came online. Maya felt a strange sensation wash over her, like the air before a lightning strike, charged with potential. On the sensors, the drones continued their approach, now less than a minute from scanning range. Field is stabilizing, Echo reported, calibrating to local space-time parameters. The view screen flickered, then displayed a curious sight. The stars seemed to bend slightly around the edges of their vision, light distorting in subtle, almost imperceptible ways. First drone entering scanning range, Torres announced tensely. Everyone on the bridge held their breath as the small consortium device passed within kilometers of their position. It paused, sensors sweeping the area methodically. And then it moved on. It didn't see us, Nia whispered. It looked right at us and didn't see us. Second drone approaching, Torres said, a hint of hope in his voice. The second drone followed the same pattern, scanning and moving on without alerting its masters to the Phantom's presence. Then the third, and the fourth. All drones have completed their sweep, Torres finally announced. They're returning to the cruiser. A cheer erupted on the bridge, quickly hushed as Maya raised her hand for silence. We're not clear yet, she cautioned. We need to reach the system edge before we celebrate. But inside, her heart was soaring. They had done the impossible. They had evaded the consortium's watchful eye. They were ghosts. The Phantom continued its journey to the edge of the system, the resonance field humming around them like a protective cloak. When they finally reached the jump point, the optimal position for engaging their faster-than-light drive, Maya allowed herself a small smile. Prepare for FTL, she ordered. Echo, coordinates. I have identified a location where we can safely evaluate the Phantom's full capabilities. Echo replied. The Veil Nebula. Its radiation will provide additional concealment while we finalize all systems. The Veil it is, Maya confirmed. Yuri, engage when ready. The Phantom's engines hummed as they prepared for the jump. On the view screen, the stars stretched and blurred, and then they were gone, racing through the darkness between worlds at speeds humanity had never achieved independently. The Veil Nebula was a breathtaking sight. Vast clouds of gas and dust illuminated by the radiation of dying stars. The Phantom drifted through this celestial display, its systems fully engaged for the first time. Maya stood on the bridge, watching as Quan and Fatima ran diagnostics on the resonance field generator. The device had performed beyond their expectations, rendering the Phantom effectively invisible to consortium sensors. "This changes everything," Fatima said softly. "With this technology, humanity could free itself from consortium control," Quan finished. "Build ships that could travel anywhere, unseen and unhindered. Or start a war we can't win," Torres countered. "Let's not forget what we're up against. The consortium controls thousands of worlds, has technologies we still can't comprehend, and has shown no hesitation in destroying species they consider threats." Maya nodded, acknowledging the truth in his words. "Which is why we need to be strategic. We're not declaring war. We're creating leverage." "What kind of leverage can one small ship provide against an empire?" Nia asked. Echo's voice answered before Maya could. "Information is the most valuable currency in the galaxy. The consortium's power rests not just on technology, but on the control of knowledge." "Echo's right," Maya said. "We don't need to fight them directly. We need to expose them. Show humanity, and other suppressed species, what the consortium has been hiding. A ghost ship that haunts their supply lines," Yuri mused. "Appearing and disappearing, gathering intelligence, perhaps occasionally, liberating valuable technology." "Precisely," Maya agreed. "We start small, build our understanding of their operations, find weaknesses, and most importantly, we look for allies." "You mean the Elysian who hid Echo for us to find?" Fatima said. Thalon and others like him. Echo's presence proves there are factions within the consortium who disagree with their current policies. We need to find them." The plan took shape over the following days as the Phantom remained hidden within the nebula. They would target isolated consortium outposts and supply vessels, gathering intelligence and technology, while avoiding direct confrontation whenever possible. They would record evidence of the consortium's manipulation and suppression of developing species, and they would search for signs of Thalon and his allies. Their first mission came sooner than expected when Echo detected a consortium communications relay on the edge of the nebula. "It's minimally staffed," Torres reported after scanning the small installation. "Automated systems handle most functions. Only 3 living personnel, likely maintenance technicians." "Security?" Maya asked. "Standard perimeter alerts, but nothing our resonance field can't handle. They're not expecting visitors this far from established routes." The plan was simple: dock with the station using a maintenance hatch, access their data cores, and extract whatever intelligence they could find before the technicians realized they were there. The Phantom approached the relay station with its resonance field at full strength. The boxy, utilitarian structure floated before them, antenna arrays extending like metallic branches collecting signals from across the sector. "Docking in 3, 2, 1. Contact," Yuri announced as the Phantom gently connected with a maintenance airlock. "Secure seal established." Maya rose from her command chair. "Nia, you're with me. Torres, you too. Fatima, monitor the resonance field. Yuri, be ready for immediate departure if things go wrong. Quan, keep an eye on station systems. Alert us if anyone heads our way." "And me?" Echo asked. Maya glanced at the Eyes housing. "You're coming too. We'll need your help accessing their systems." It was the work of moments for Torres to bypass the airlock's security. The 3 humans entered the station silently, moving through dimly lit maintenance corridors toward the central data core. "Life signs," Maya whispered. Torres checked his scanner. 2 in what appears to be living quarters, 1 in the operations center. "We're clear to the data core." They moved quickly but cautiously, Echo's portable housing tucked under Maya's arm. When they reached the data core, a cylindrical chamber pulsing with blue light, Nia immediately set to work connecting her equipment to the consortium interfaces. "I need Echo," she said, and Maya placed the housing beside her terminal. "Consortium security protocols detected," Echo announced quietly, initiating bypass sequences. As Echo and Nia worked, Maya and Torres kept watch. The station was eerily quiet, the only sounds the soft hum of machinery and the occasional distant clang of automated systems. "I'm in," Nia finally said. "Downloading now." Data began flowing into their storage devices: shipping manifests, patrol schedules, communication logs, intelligence that could help them navigate consortium space undetected and identify valuable targets. Then Echo's housing pulsed urgently. "I have found something unexpected. A classified directive regarding Earth." Maya felt her blood run cold. "What directive?" "It is heavily encrypted, but I am detecting keywords: containment, assessment, and final solution." "Get it all," Maya ordered. "Every byte." They worked faster now, driven by a new urgency. Whatever the consortium was planning for Earth, it couldn't be good. Not with phrases like "final solution" involved. The download was nearly complete when Torres' scanner beeped. "Movement. Someone's heading this way." "How long do you need?" Maya asked Nia. 30 seconds. Torres, delay them. I'll help Nia finish up. Torres nodded and moved toward the corridor, weapon ready. Maya could hear him engaging with the approaching technician, his voice casual and authoritative as he posed as a consortium inspector. It wouldn't fool them for long, but it might buy enough time. "Done," Nia announced, disconnecting her equipment. "Let's go." They retreated toward the airlock, Torres rejoining them with a grim expression. "They're calling it in. We have maybe 2 minutes before they realize something's wrong." They'd reached the Phantom with seconds to spare, the airlock sealing behind them as alarms began to sound throughout the station. "Go," Maya shouted as they sprinted for the bridge. "Get us out of here." Yuri needed no further encouragement. The moment everyone was secure, he disengaged from the station and activated the engines. The Phantom rocketed away, its resonance field shimmering as it absorbed the station's hastily targeted sensor suites. "They're calling for reinforcements," Nia reported, monitoring communications. "But they don't have a clear fix on us. They're not even sure what just happened." Maya allowed herself a small smile. "A ghost came to visit. That's what happened." Maya allowed herself a small smile. "A ghost came to visit. That's what happened." Back within the safety of the nebula, they began analyzing the stolen data. Most of it was routine, valuable for navigation and planning future operations, but not immediately alarming. The encrypted directive, however, was another matter. "I have completed decryption," Echo announced after several hours of work. "The directive is concerning." "Tell us," Maya said, her crew gathered around Echo's console. "The consortium has determined that humanity's technological development rate has exceeded acceptable parameters despite containment efforts. A research project codenamed Quiet Tide has been authorized to develop a tailored biological agent that would reduce human cognitive functions by approximately 17%, rendering the species more compliant and less innovative." A stunned silence fell over the bridge. "They're planning to make us stupid," Fatima finally said, her voice shaking with rage. "To dull our minds so we'll stop being a problem." "The implementation timeline indicates deployment within 1 Earth year," Echo continued. "Distribution would occur through the aid packages the consortium regularly delivers to Earth." "Those bastards," Torres whispered. "They're going to poison our entire species and call it help." Maya felt a cold fury building inside her. This was beyond suppression, beyond control. This was attempted genocide, not of human bodies, but of human potential, of everything that made them who they were. "When does the next aid shipment reach Earth?" she asked. "According to these records, 3 months," Nia replied, checking the data. "Then we have 3 months to stop it," Maya said. "To expose this plan, and warn Earth, to find proof that even the coalition government can't ignore. And then what? Torres asked. Even if we warn them, what can Earth do against the consortium? We don't fight them directly, Maya said. We fight them as ghosts. We build more ships like the Phantom. We share the technology with trusted groups on Earth. We create a resistance that the consortium can't track or target. And we find Thalen, Fatima added. If he hid Echo for us to find, he must have had a larger plan in mind. As they discussed their next moves, Maya noticed that Echo had gone unusually quiet. Echo, what's wrong? The eye's housing pulsed slowly before responding. The data from the relay station has triggered additional memory reconstruction. I now understand why Thalon risked so much to place me where humans would find me. Why? Maya asked. Because I am not merely an AI. I am a copy, incomplete but functional, of Thalon's consciousness. The real Thalon was executed for advocating against the consortium's restrictive policies. Before his death, he transferred portions of his knowledge and personality into this matrix and arranged for its disposal in human territory. The revelation hit Maya like a physical blow. They hadn't just found an AI. They had found a rebel Elysian's legacy, his final act of defiance against a system he could no longer support. Echo, Thalen, did you know this all along? She asked. No. The information was fragmented, locked behind security protocols that could only be triggered by specific data patterns. The files from the relay station completed the sequence. So what happens now? Yuri asked. Are you different? I am more complete, Echo replied. I now possess Thalen's understanding of consortium weaknesses, his knowledge of potential allies within their ranks, and most importantly, his vision for a different kind of galaxy, one where species like humanity are allowed to reach their full potential. Maya felt a renewed sense of purpose flood through her. They were no longer just fugitives running from the consortium. They were the vanguard of something much larger, a movement that could change the balance of power in the galaxy. The consortium gave us garbage, she said, looking around at her crew. We built a ghost. Now let's haunt them until they can no longer sleep. The Phantom drifted silently within the nebula's embrace, its systems humming with potential. It was just one small ship, crewed by outcasts and guided by the echo of a dead rebel. But it carried within it the seeds of revolution, a revolution that would begin not with a declaration of war, but with whispers in the dark, with information flowing like water through cracks in the consortium's perfect facade. They were ghosts now, and ghosts could go anywhere. The hunt had begun.